What is your name, profession, and where did you grow up?
My name is Gustavo Ponce. I'm a high school teacher, and I grew up in Mexico.
All right. How long have you lived, worked, or spent time in the valley?
I lived in the valley since 2011, so about 14 years.
And what brought you to the valley?
Well, I wanted to buy a house. My wife and I wanted more space for the kids, so we wanted to buy a house with a yard so they could play outside. We used to live in the west side, so the valley presented itself as a great opportunity to raise kids.
All right. How would you describe the food culture of the valley when you first became familiar with it?
Mm, non-existent, I guess. I mean,
Non-existent.
it was just your usual fare of food, but I know that lately a lot has changed and there's more options, more selective options. Yeah.
Would you do you have any examples from back then or
Um, I can't think of anything specific. I mean, you had like your typical Mexican restaurants and Salvadorian restaurants. They were really good. I mean, they're still really good. Um, but now there's more options in terms of like if you're a foodie or
and leading into that, in the time you spent in the valley, what changes have you noticed in restaurants, food trucks, or like marketplaces that are popular?
well, there's a lot of changes. I mean, the valley is being gentrified, or at least there's a lot of. I noticed that there's like more upper middle class families and the food options. There's like a wider range, so there's like whatever you want to get. I mean, there's like breweries and high end burger places, pizza places, even taquerias that cater to the like the hipster crowd and stuff.
And again, kind of leading into that, do you think that the rising property values that have come with gentrification have affected longstanding family-owned restaurants, or
No, I think they have actually like highlighted them. I mean, they. I don't think they. How could I put it? I don't think they have affected them negatively. In fact, most of like the hipsters have embraced like this old mom and those shops, mom and pop shops and those traditional restaurants. Yeah.
so you think that these new installations have kind of adapted to the culture of the valley instead of maybe like imposing?
I mean, the valley is the valley. You have to adapt to the valley. So you have to. You can't just change completely. You still have to have some of the essence of the valley. I mean,
Okay. And what role do you think immigrant communities have played in shaping the valley's cuisine and cultural identity?
oh, a major role because there's ethnicities from a lot of parts of the world around here. I mean, you have like the Thai community in North Hollywood, Mexicans in North Hollywood, the Armenians, Filipinos, Salvadorians, Guatemalans, and now there's more African Americans that are moving in. So you see more options, and a wider range. So I think the all these ethnicities have brought more like cultural richness to the neighborhood.
Okay. And because of the economic changes that have occurred since you've moved here, right? Do you think that any restaurants or markets or like gatherings have maybe disappeared because of it?
I can't think of any specific restaurant that has disappeared. I mean, you have those restaurants that close because of the pandemic. A lot of restaurants closed during that time. But I think they most of them have like weathered the storm. Like the so-called hard times. Um, I can't think of anything that has disappeared.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think that maybe, any would disappear in the future, or
Well, I mean, it's possible that they would disappear because it's so hard to open a business. I mean, you're required to pay like an $800 license. So that kind of discourages people from even starting or considering contemplating a business. That's a deterrent. So that in that sense, yeah, it would affect.
Okay. Do you think that the newer businesses are serving the needs of long-term residents, or maybe these, new people who are moving in?
That's a good question. I think it's both, like a symbiotic relationship. I think the old timers are kind of glad that we're getting new offerings, new options that you could only find in the West Side, and now you don't have to drive far to like sample some of like the trendy food items and offerings. The gastronomic choices or whatever.
Yeah.
So instead of resenting them, I think the all time locals, they're embracing it, and as the new hipster crowd, like the younger generations.
And
Yeah.
maybe something more related to the younger generation. How do you think social media has influenced what kind of restaurants or various things have been popular in the valley?
Oh, completely. I mean, it has affected them. Yeah, to a large degree. I mean, you have like those small taquerias that could become like super popular overnight just because somebody like Instagram or posted some Yelp review, and all of a sudden they become like the hip restaurant at the moment. So, yeah,
So,
I think the younger crowd has kind of helped popularize some of these old restaurants. But of course, it has to do with the quality of the food. If the food is not good, it doesn't matter how much social media or platforms you use. It's just you know.
so you would say though that it's generally a positive
Yeah, I
force.
think it is a positive force.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Beyond food, because we have been talking a bit about food, what kind of changes to the valley's popular culture have you seen since you've been here? Like music, art, or entertainment?
A lot. I mean, there's like Art House movie theater in North Hollywood that shows really cool, foreign films. So that alone is like the epicenter of like the international like art offerings and stuff. And then you have like the night market in NoHo, which sells arts and crafts. You have like all kinds of athletic events during the holidays. You have filming locations everywhere. I mean, you have all these people just like I don't know, organizing events just to create community. So yeah, I think there's a lot of changes. A lot. I mean, this North Hollywood is becoming like a hub, not only in terms of transportation, but in terms of like culture. It's already a cultural hub. I mean, it has so many theaters, but now you could actually see that this is becoming like a not up and coming because I think it's already there, but a coveted community. In the long run, is going to be one of the top. I think.
Yeah. Um, do you think that maybe, as you were saying, North Hollywood and the valley as a whole has undergone a lot of economic development recently, right?
Yeah.
Do you think that that has maybe promoted diversity or reduced it?
Or what?
Or reduced it? I don't know.
Oh,
There's probably a better way
promoted
to say
or
it.
yeah, or I think it is. It has promoted it because, I mean, the valley is largely, working class. At least where we live, there's a lot of working class families from all over the world. So, I think when developers start a new project, they kind of emphasize that idea that this is a culturally diverse community, and that's an asset to your, you know, investment. Whether it's a home or a business. So
Okay.
yeah.
Do you think that maybe the younger generations may view gentrification differently from you do?
I think gentrification is gentrification. I mean, I don't know what they think, but
I guess what I'm really asking here is, do you think there's like a divide in opinion from the generations, at least in terms of like the changes that are happening to the community? like, would you believe that people maybe in your age demographic are more or less likely to approve of the changes currently happening to the community than maybe someone of my age demographic?
That's an interesting question. I think it has to do with whether you're like if you own a property, you kind of don't mind the investments or the changes that are going up because obviously it's to your benefit, you know. But if you don't own property, then of course if you're being displaced, that kind of sucks because that's, you know, there's some suffering, you know, that happens when new developments just like displace people and okay, they might make the neighborhood look nice, but what happens to all the suffering of these people? How do they survive, or where do they go because they can't afford it anymore? You know?
So you're saying rather than it being like an age thing, it's more like if you have property or if you're really like settled in the
Yeah, it has to
community.
do with like economic. You know, it's like more like an economic perspective. Yeah,
Yeah, so it's more emphasized on how it affects different people.
yeah.
Okay. Um, what changes in the local economy have affected who can live, work, or open businesses in the valley? Or do you believe maybe there hasn't been very much change in affordability in the valley?
I mean, the valley has this idea that is a little bit more affordable, but it's an illusion because it is not affordable. You still have to have a down payment. You still have a good paying job, enough to pay the mortgage, and so yes, it is a little cheaper than other areas of the city, but you still have to have good income to afford it. So
Do you think that maybe these effects have been accelerated in recent years, or?
yeah, I think so. I think it's gotten even more expensive and harder to buy a home here because since it's becoming more popular, then obviously it's catching up. You know, everyone wants to, like, maybe invest here, possibly.
Can you
I don't know
think
if I
of?
answered the question.
No, you did. Can you think of a specific neighborhood or area where economic development has significantly changed the local culture or dining scene?
Oh, I mean, yeah, it's specifically like the epicenter of North Hollywood by the metro station. That area alone, I think that's the biggest change. Because, I mean, just the crowd that hangs out there is mostly young people, and you can tell they're like college educated and they're like the whatever they call it creatives. And so that seems like a different North Hollywood than the rest of the North Hollywood.
Yeah.
So, which is more, you know, working class, middle class is a mixed bag. Yeah, but definitely the Magnolia and Lancashire around that area is just completely. It has a different vibe, like a more affluent, more highly educated, or at least artistic.
Okay.
But that's not to say that there's no other educated people in the periphery because there are, which are also wealthy, you know.
It's just maybe not as concentrated. You're
Maybe not me, but everyone
saying.
else seems to have more wealth and even the cars they drive and all kinds of stuff. But yeah, so
Okay. Do you think what are some more positive impacts of economic development on food and cultural anything in the valley
some of
that
the
you've
most
seen?
positive. Say that again.
What are some? I probably could have worded that better. Um, in your experience, what are some positive impacts of economic development on the food and culture of the valley?
I don't know if I'm understanding this question, but some of the positive impacts of development on food.
Yeah, of like economic development in just like the valley getting, of course, wealthier as a whole as time progresses. What are some positive impacts that has had on the food culture in the valley, or just popular culture?
Well, I mean, the array of offerings is much better, and if you get to taste like food from other cultures, you're more likely to be inclined to explore, be more sympathetic to, you know, knowing the cultures of those regions and the people, because I don't know, it kind of brings you closer to your neighbors, your community, if you're willing to explore like other food options, because food and people in general. Like food is the most important thing for in terms of culture. So
Okay.
yeah.
Well, do you think that maybe the economic development, especially that we've seen in recent years, has had any negative impacts on local businesses or community identity, or?
Um,
Okay.
Repeat it again.
What do you think
Mhm.
that the economic development that we've seen in recent years, especially,
Mhm.
has had negative impacts on local businesses or the local community identity?
Yeah, I might be biased on this one. I don't think it has a negative impact. In fact, I think it's the opposite. I think it has brought more attention to the community and brought more choices. You know, um,
I mean, that's perfectly fine. I am
yeah,
asking you
yeah,
anyway, you know?
yeah. The only, yeah, the only thing I would say is like I wish the development would happen faster because there's a lot of empty lots in North Hollywood that is like that are considered like blight, or eyesores, and that's potential businesses that people could operate.
Okay. So, in your opinion, though, the economic development that we've seen, especially in recent years, has been a net positive for the culture.
It has been positive, but it needs to be done faster. It needs to
Mm.
be, and I think it would have a more positive effect.
So, really, your only complaint is it's not enough, you know?
It's not enough, and it's not fast enough.
Ah, okay.
Because I think if we have a nicer North Hollywood, it would benefit everyone. Because you want to live in a nice community. You want to
Mm.
have, murals. You want to have trees. You want to have clean streets, nice sidewalks, lighting, safe. Because when you feel safe and your community looks nice, you know, the
Okay.
quality of life improves. That would be the positive aspect of life. Yeah.
Okay. And for our final question, because we have been going 17 minutes at this point,
Really?
looking ahead, what do you hope that. Hold on, let me reword this so I'm not confusing again. Looking ahead, how do you hope that the Valley's culture and popular culture and just like food culture will change in the next 10 years, let's say? I really gotta word these better, don't I? Okay.
Repeat.
In the future, next 10 years,
Uh-huh.
right? How do you hope that the Valley's food culture and popular culture will change?
Mm, I hope that in 10 years we have more restaurants, more movie theaters, more venues to do more interesting stuff, so you don't have to go far away. Like there's no need to go to Burbank. The money that we should spend should stay here in Hollywood for the investment of the community. So if you have nicer movie theaters, nicer restaurants, you don't need to go to Studio City or Burbank or any other place, unless you want to, obviously. But we have the potential to have those here. So I hope in 10 years we have all that stuff here, and that would have a great impact on the community.
Okay. And that should
Yeah.
be it. That concludes my questions.